20 minutes. That's the time available to the drivers on Saturday at the end of the afternoon to get the best time and best position possible on the grid the next day. Very quickly, the protagonists of the Spa race were crossing swords. It's first of all Jean-Christophe Bouillon who gets the fastest reference time at the wheel of the Pescarolo Judd. During this time, Nicolas Manassian has cold sweats at the entrance to the parabolic, and as DBA touches the Lola AER of the Chamberlain team, fortunately no great harm done. Manassian signs a great time. The stopwatch clicks at 1:38.411, placing him on the front row. While the Pescarolo is favourite for pole, as was already the case in Spa and Le Mans, it's the Japanese driver Hayanari Shimoda who seizes the best time. Proof that the Zytek, victorious at Francorchamps, intends to make its presence felt here in Monza.
This circuit has a very long straight, so we thought Pescarolo is quicker than us, we thought, but now we could get the P1, so we are very happy now.
Bouillon thus has to be satisfied with third best time, a little over 0.8 of a second off the pole position. To supplement the second line, the other Zytek, driven by Harold Kurosawa. High competition in LMP1, but also in LMP2. The first incident comes from William Binney, who goes for a nice spin without any major damage. In the Belgian Ardennes, the Courage and Lola LMP2s fought it out during the entire 6 hours. Here, right from qualifying, the fight's on again. Paul Belmondo Racing have an unquestionable advantage on all his adversaries as they're running 2 cars with the possibility of choosing 2 different race tactics. In practice, the Courage Ford C65s, however, were excellent performers. The wheel of number 36, Vincent Voss, signs a time of 1:41.814, placing him third on qualifying hierarchy in LMP2. Winners at Spa, meantime, the Chamberlain team placed their Lola AER on second place of the LMP2 starting grid. Best time in P2 is put in by Didier André in another Belmondo team car. Nice performance, all the more so as he's classified 6th in the absolute hierarchy.
We had few problems, like most of the people maybe, but we didn't really, find the right balance of the car until the qualification. We made the right decision at the right moment, and then I just had to did a good lap, and that's it.
The last 20 minutes of qualifying are set aside for the GT cars. Spoke about the Lamborghinis a few minutes ago, and they made a splash in qualifying. Peter Cox, first of all, since he put in a rather promising time, 5th in the hierarchy, just 2 seconds off the fastest Ferrari on the track. The other Lambo signs the 6th best time in GTs, but ends the session a little less glorious, winding up in the gravel trap. You will have understood the best times in the GT category are taken by Ferraris. Remains to be seen if it's a red, black or blue car that will manage to rise to the top of the hierarchy. In the forward stations, it's down to 0.1 of a second. They're fighting in qualifying. The 550 Maranello of Thomas Enge, Jarek Janus and Robert Pergel takes third time, less than a second off the fastest of the GT1s. Ferraris monopolize the front post, and that of the Russians Fomenko and Vasiliev, driven by Christophe Bouchou, taking the second best time in the class. The pole in GT2 goes to the victorious car at Spa, the Maranello of the Scuderia BMS. Gollan offers a time of 1:46.175.
1,000 kilometers is a very long race, especially in Monza, because Monza is a fast track and it's possible to have a lot of mechanical problems. And so we want to think for the championship, because in this moment we are in the first position in the championship, so it's very important to finish well the race.
This car is seemingly a Porsche of the most traditional kind, but to look a little more closely, you'll soon understand that its drivers are somewhat exotic. Natavude, Kunplome and Vutikorn are Thais, and back home they're stars.
We have seen this a lot, especially our sponsor also, doing the media kind of thing. And this is one of the main things that we are promoting in Thailand. Okay. So that's why we are here.
Do you have a big following in Thailand? You have fans back there watching the TV and supporting you back in Thailand?
I hope so.
This unlikely crew is backed by a British team, Tech9 Motorsport.
Yeah, the LMES Championship is very strong, and it's very strong internationally. We're one of the current British team here. There's a lot of British teams, so I see a lot of guys we've raced with in England, and we have an all-Thai driver lineup, which I think is the first for LMES.
And up against this very strong competition, the Thais are far from being ridiculous, since at the end of qualifying they classified anti-penultimate, a little less than 5 seconds off the pole in GT2. GT2, the TVRs are likely to have a little more difficulty being successful here in Monza, where top speed has a major importance. They get the 5th best time in qualifying. It should be played out between the Ferrari Modenas and the unstoppable Porsche 911s. The Modenas are classified in the leading stations, with the 3rd best time for the GPC car driven by Rosa Drudi and Babini. The 2nd time goes to another Ferrari, that of the Scuderia Ecos. Kinch and Kirkcaldy will share the wheel. The pole in GT2, which is also the 29th absolute time, goes to the Porsche driven by Groppi, Mocchia and Rockenfeller. It's the latter who's the author of the time, and as he's driving for the first time with this team.
The race setup is more important than the setup for the qualifying. But anyway, we are you know, happy to be on pole. That's always good, and we are looking forward to it.
In pole position for this 2nd event of the season, the winner of the race in Spa, Shimoda, who takes the start. The 2nd position, Nicolas Manassian in the DBA Judd number 7.
Les feux sont là en fait.
12:30 p.m. the rolling start of the 1,000 kilometers of Monza. It's Shimoda who sets the pace of the other competitors. Drivers are not permitted to overtake before passing the starting line. The Japanese driver rolls at an abnormally slow speed, surprising the majority of the drivers. Shimoda finally decides to increase power, and the race is on. As of the first corner, the Zytek takes the lead, while Manu Collard and the Pescarolo Judd seize the 2nd position. Manassian is back in 3rd place. The position of the DBA is then threatened by Jean-Marc Gounon in the Courage Judd number 13. The first pirouette of the race is for the Porsche number 89 of Nielsen Tearing at Eretz. LMP2, the 2 cars of the Belmondo team take control of operations, with number 37 in front of number 36, just behind the Ford-powered Courages and the Lola of Thomas Erdos. A little reminder of the Le Mans event where these cars had clashed in the last hours of the race. It's the Lola that had taken it out. Very quickly, the Lola comes back up on the Courage of Voss, and the 2 boys put in a spectacular fight. up with the leaders of the general classification. Manu Collard is on the heels of Hayanari Shimoda. At the exit of the parabolic, Collard's fixed in the slipstream of Shimoda, then seizes command of the race. During several laps, the Japanese rider clings behind the Frenchman as they lap tail enders. They play yo-yo, but Shimoda's not able to carry off a real attack. Until the first refueling stop, Collard and Shimoda keep in close quarters. The Pescarolo loses first place, time to fill the tank. Then it's the turn of Shimoda to head for the pits to fill up, coming back out in second place behind Collard. As expected in GT1, a very fast Christophe Bouchou settles into the command as of the first minutes of the race. But as opposed to what we're waiting for, most serious opposition at this stage in the race doesn't come from the Ferraris of the Scuderia BMS, but from the Lamborghini number 64, driven by Peter Cox, who, with a clever play on refueling and excellent regularity, will even take the lead of the category. The teammates of the Orlando team had led the dance in GT2 with apparent ease. We've been expecting the Ferrari Modenas to sow the disorder in GT2. Very quickly, the car of Team GPC Sport is eliminated following a puncture after leaving the track. Big problems for the Dome Judd of Jan Lammers. It'll spend long minutes in the pits and thus lose any chance of a good ranking in the final standings. A big fright for Vincent Voss in full fight for the first place of LMP2. The Belgian catches up with tailenders in their own battle. In the action, one of the cars sends a plastic part into the trajectory of the Proto, and difficult to avoid. More serious mechanical problems occur with the Courage number 13 of Jean-Marc Gounon. The left rear suspension's affected, and very quickly the tire bursts. A shame, because the car was running very well in fourth place at this point in the race. Leading still, the Pescarolo number 17's out in the open. Jean-Christophe Bouillon is still at the wheel, and the car is running like a clock. You can't say the same for the Promec Judd of Alex Caffey. Since the beginning of the weekend, he's been having multiple problems. In the race, it's one gravel trap, then another, and finally this incredible image at the wheel. Michele Serafini, who knows the park of Monza like the back of his hand, decides to get out of the gravel trap in a rather unusual fashion. Following the problems of the Courage of Gounon and those of the Zytek of Shimoda, it's the DBA of Manassian that's now the most dangerous rival for the leading car. With the play on pit stops, the DBA even completes some laps in the lead. Leading car running perfectly, no problems for Pesca, who have a small lead on the DBA. LMP2, at the end of an impeccable double relay, Vincent Voss yields his place to Claude-Yves Gosselin. The other car of the team was forced to retire. Behind there are two Lolas, which are leading the hunt, out of the Chamberlain team in yellow, and the other from Team RML. GT1, the Lambo of Cox and Simon is leading the category. For the team's leading car, things are going rather well. It's the least one can say. On the other hand, for the sister car, the race is over with a broken engine. LMP1, the Ferrari Maranellos exchange positions. Two reds of the Scuderia BMS, number 61 of the Converse team and number 67 of the Czech Menex team. Czech team finally having some problems with an overheating engine. GT2 since the start, it's the Porsche number 76 of Ortolando Sport that leads the dance. The car is at the top of the batch, but an epidemic of punctures on the left rear side completely ruined the race for Rockenfeller, Mockler and Groppi.
We have found a lot of dirty in the track, so the tire maybe has flattened due to the dirty on the track. We don't know exactly what happened. I know that we have had another tire explosion and always the rear left.
As a result, the Porsches number 88 and 90 find themselves able to aim for the victory in their category. Response is given by the Ferrari Modena of Scuderia Ecos, driven by Kirkcaldy and Kinch. For their first race in LMES, Freddie Lienhardt and Didier Taze didn't have much success. The Swiss driver Lienhardt makes it a few hundred meters before losing a wheel. He's forced to abandon. Jamie Campbell-Walter replaces Nicholas Manassian at the wheel of the DBA number 7. British driver attacks as hard as he can and shortens a good deal of the gap behind Pescarolo. It's enough for the DBA to be in the lead during pit stops by the leaders.
Job, and it was a long race, so I think we're well in there.
Nothing too bothersome for the Pescarolo boys, who managed the situation perfectly. Changes of drivers, tires and refueling are organized perfectly.
Interesting race. It's an interesting race with the DBA. We are not refueling at the same time, so it should be right for the end of the race, but we don't know exactly if they will stop one time less or not than us. You know, that could be the difference.
In third position of general standings, we now find the Zytek number 9 of Team Yota. Kurosawa, Stack and Hignett share the wheel. Sam Hignett, who has a collection of hats since he's also team manager.
Sam Hignett in the pits here, watching with great attention as the car goes round very well at the moment. Sam, I think the car started from 4th position on the grid. It's going very well at the moment.
Yeah, 3rd place, we're quite happy with that. Very difficult round here, being a fast circuit, to be anywhere near the pace of the hybrids, but, you know, for what we are, we're doing well.
On the provisional podium of LMP2, it's the Chamberlain Lola. Bob Berridge is at the wheel. The place perfectly suits the team owner, Hugh Chamberlain.
Well, it was until about 30 minutes ago. We had all the telemetry's gone down, so we don't know how much fuel the car's using, which is a big problem. We're very close to the fuel window, and we had to make sure we adjusted it accordingly. And that's a problem without the telemetry, because we have no idea. We have to go back to original counting and stopwatches and things. And apparently we've got a minor problem with the gearbox. But apart from that, it's all pretty easy, really.
We've left the Courage Ford number 36 leading in LMP2. Claude-Yves Gosselin and Karim Oj take turns at the wheel. A little slower than their teammate Vincent Voss. They lose ground and positions. And a little after midway point, the Ford Courage is only running 2nd in the category. old mates now leading LMP2. They're none other than the recent winners at the 24 Hour of Le Mans, Mike Newton and the Brazilian Thomas Erdos.
Well, I mean, it's obviously always difficult when you're doing endurance racing. You never know what's going to crop up, and you know, we have to just maintain the position as we are, not push too hard, and you know, if we need to push harder, then we can do that at the end of the race if we look after the car now, which is what we're doing.
A little later, Thomas runs into some hassles, a mechanical problem, and the car is pushed back into the garage for an intervention that'll make him lose first place in LMP2 as Ford Courage takes the leadership. GT1, the battle is raging. The Lambo still holds the lead ahead of the Ferraris. Car number 52 of Golan, victorious in Spa, is second, pursued by the sister car, that of Pescatori, Baltian and Sela. Change hour by hour in GT2, and 2/3 of the way through the race, it's now the Ferrari number 93 of Scuderia Ecos which is in the lead. Positions at this point, with in 4th place overall the only girl engaged in the round of the LMES. Vanina X, already on the podium at Spa, is on the way to doing just as well here in company of her teammates from Roll Center Racing, Joao Barbosa and John Stack. In 3rd place, the Zytek of the Jota team is on the way to an excellent result. And still with a strategy of offset relays compared to the leaders, it's the DBA of Manassian and Campbell Walter. The Franco-British duo doesn't have the intention of throwing in their hand, putting in time similar to those of the leading Pescarolo and even appreciably faster than those of the French car. In the lead, Manu Collard is driving another stint in the Pescarolo chart, and he'll drive the car right to the finish. Cold shower for the Lamborghini team. Not far off the end of the race, car number 64 blows its engine, blowing by the same token all hopes of Peter Cox and Norman Simon. However, at Lambo they can still be satisfied with the Italian weekend.
But overall I'm not completely disappointed, because I never expected to lead a Monza race, which is indeed not our favorite circuit, and so the first 4 hours were quite okay, I must say.
Almost at the same time, the Ferrari BMS number 52 blows a front left tire and loses first place in GT1. Deception for the Italian team quickly attenuated by the fact that it's the sister car that seizes the command. Definitely some comebacks in this race. At this time, it's in GT2 with the Modena of the Scuderia Ecos, which finds itself planted in a sand trap, letting the Porsche number 90 of Pompidou and Lieb slip by. More serious this time, it's now the car running second overall back into the pits with problems. DBA is putting out some very worrying smoke, and Manassian's forced to give up the fight for victory.
We've got a water leak, so it's either a problem with the pipes come off, or I don't know what the problem is, but it's a water leak basically, so they're obviously trying to fix it. But all the water's come out of the car, so it's all on the ground over there, so they've got to fill the car up back with water, pressurise the system and everything else. So we're still P2 though at the moment. But I think P3 is catching us, you know, obviously whilst we're sat here, but they were 5 laps behind us, so hopefully we get it fixed and get back out there.
Number 7 remains glued to the pits for a long moment, too long a moment, allowing the Zytek number 9 of the Team Jota to take the second place overall. Worse still, the 8 laps lead that the DBA had on Roll Centre melt like snow in the sun, and Vanina X climbs to the provisional podium. When Nicholas Manassian takes back to the track, he's only 7th in the running. To make things more interesting, it's now that the rain starts falling over Monza. A fine rain, which in any case doesn't flood the track, but on the other hand makes it very slippery. No one changes tyres, as there remains a little less than 15 laps to be completed. It's better to remain careful. Lap times increase by about 10 seconds. It's the heartbeats that go up to 200 with the Jota team when Sam Hignett leaves in a spin and is found blocked in a sand trap. His lead over Vanina X is sufficient for him not to lose his second position, though. Porsche number 83 of Colin Feldmeyer, and Feldmeyer finishes on the podium in GT2. Behind the Ferrari of the Scuderia Ecos, driven by Kirkcaldy and Kinch. The 993 RSR of Pompidou and Lieb that dominates in GT2.
It was a fantastic race for us. It was just a clear race for us. We had no mistakes. It was absolutely fantastic, concerning running a 6-year-old car. And just to be competitive in this highly competitive class, it's just amazing. And the Ferraris gave us a great battle, the other Porsches gave us a great battle. It's just fantastic.
Now the Ferraris, in fact, were quicker a lot of the time. What was it that won the race for you, even though the car was a little bit slower and at top speed?
Well, we had just we were consistent. We were more consistent. We didn't go off the track, and the other cars had some problems, had some penalties as well. We just had no penalties, no go-offs. We stayed clear, no tire problems. It was just a clean, perfect race for us.
In GT1, the lowest step on the podium goes to the Ferrari Maranello of the Russians Vasiliev, and Fomenko, as usual, perfectly assisted by Christoph Buschu, the 2004 LMES champion in LMGT2. Czechs of the Menex team finish in second place. Pergel, Enger and Janus see more success than at the time of the opening round at Spa-Francorchamps. After a victory at Spa, Scuderia BMS double their chances at Monza, where they're at home, but this time it's the other car that dominates, that of Bartian Golan and of the Swiss driver Tony Sieler, a former Saleen driver.
for me the long time for winning. This team is very fantastic. For me, it's the best. I drove the car running every time. Not for me the last year with the Saline is. We have a good race, a good position. The leader the race 5 times, full position, everything. To finish the race with a very good team and the car and the tires to really make the best, I'm very happy.
Winning car at Le Mans finishes here on the 3rd step of the podium. The Chamberlain team takes a superb 2nd place at the end of a very long fight. The drivers, Bob Berridge, Gareth Evans and Peter Owen, are thrilled, all the more so after their victory at Spa. They lead the championship in LMP2. His 2nd race in a prototype sports car, Vincent Voss takes victory in the company of OJ and Gosselin, his teammates for the weekend. For Team Belmondo, this success with the Ford-powered Courage is a first.
The team did a fantastic job because last year the reliability was not really there. They did not finish any race of the championship, and this year, well, we finished last races with some problem, but we finished the race. They finished Le Mans on the podium. And now we won this race, so it's fantastic for the team.
For the 2nd time of the year in 2 races, Roll Center finishes on the podium. Proof that regularity still pays in endurance. It's also important to salute the drivers Martin Short, Joao Barbosa, and of course the only girl of the race for Nina X. The 2nd place of these 1,000 kilometers of Monza, the Zytek of Team Jota, driven by Sam Hignett, John Stack and Haruki Kurosawa. Pescarolo team finishes this race with a victory, the first of this hybrid car. After the 2nd places taken at Spa, then in Le Mans, this result was much awaited in Henri's team. Henri, who regrets just one thing, not to have fought until the end against the DBA of Manassian and Campbell Walter, even in the rain.
But anyway, we were ready either to change the tires or anyway to adapt our race as outside condition. It should have been very interesting to finish the race with Nicolas Minassian because with those conditions it should have been very difficult, but unfortunately for him he had to stop before the end, and even with rain at the end it was quite easy for us. We had a comfortable advance.
Okay.
We are very pleased with the result because it's only 3rd race we did with this car, and we finished twice 2nd and now we won, so it's a great result, and we hope more for the end of the season.
What about the end of the race with the rain?
It was quite difficult because I decided to stay on the track with slick tires, so I was a bit scared to make a mistake, but we had enough gap to go very slowly at the end, and it was fine.